Tuko na female shelter Mewa. Now it's sad for me to share this. We have beautiful young girls just like who are seated here that are struggling with substance abuse. Today we are going to understand how did they get there? How did it start? Because when you sit with most of them, they'll tell you that alhamdulillah they went to madrasa, they had good families, they had good schools, walihifadhi the Qurani. What happened? We're going to learn about that today inshallah. Sawa. Haya. Hapa mimi huwa siongee peke yangu. I get a lot of information from you. I learn from you, just the way you're going to learn from me, and it's an engagement. Nitamuintroduce mwenzangu. Mwenzangu ni technical support kwenye timu yetu ya e-learning, anaitwa Hamis Said, na atakuwa na sisi inshallah. Yeye ataifanya second part of it. Sawa. Haya, bismillah. Usiende, nataka first slide. So, tunaona we are going to learn or understand on sensitization on drug use prevention facts about drugs. Most of us know what drugs is, but today we are going to learn in depth what drug is all about. Sote tunajua madawa ni nini, lakini nataka tufahamu madawa ni nini na tofauti yake ni nini. Sina codeless, nataka tu engage kwa sababu nitauliza maswali mkinijibu. Mtu yote anaweza kushare na sisi. Now there's no wrong answer in our facilitation. What is drugs? By show of hand, I'll share the mic with you so that we get. Drugs ni nini? Hakuna haja ku no. There's no wrong answer. Anything that comes in your head, share. MashaAllah. That's your good.
A drug is any substance used in our body which alters the way the body functions.
MashaAllah. Very beautiful, eh? Ama meangalia slide wakasema. That's very beautiful. Amesema kwa kitu rahisi, anasema dawa ni kitu chochote ambacho tunapoitia kwenye mwili wetu unabadilisha mfumo wa mwili wetu. Si ndio? Si ndio? So kuna aina nyingi za drugs. There's so many types of drugs, si ndio? Nataka mtu aniambie what type of drugs you know na inafanya nini mwingine. I want us to engage. Let's engage. There's no wrong answer, Swela. Just share. It's good. Bismillah. Anything. Thank you. Swela yona haya, haina shida. It's okay.
Hapa kuna right answer.
Thank you. Ombie.
Hapa hakuna right answer. Siko na mwanafunzi ambaye amepata amekosa.
Tutajifunza.
Angalia participation ya wanafunzi. Kama vile mwalimu anapofundisha darasani, wanafunzi atakashiriki. Pia hapa sasa hivi nataka wanafunzi washiriki.
Alafu baada tusha participate nitawaeleza ni nini. So our understanding will be much better, okay? So mtu yote ananiambia type of drugs. Mimi nitashare. Mimi najua Panadol. Panadol kazi yake ni kiumwa na kichwa inanifanya nisikie vizuri, si ndio? Haya, let's go on. Mimi share yangu. Ama nitapick randomly. Mashallah, hawa wako more engaging. Tafadhali.
Citrazine.
Waangalie huku.
Citrazine.
Citrazine kazi yake nini?
It is mostly used in allergies.
Thank you very much. So she's sharing that she knows a drug called cetirizine, and majorly it's being used for allergies. Yeah. Any other drugs? Any other drugs? Mimi nitashare mwingine. Mwarobaini. Nikishikwa na homa, nikinywa maji ya mwarobaini na nipunguzia homa, ama nikijifukuza mwarobaini. Si ndio sir? Thank you. Any other drug? Last share alafu tusonge mbele.
Flugon used when you have flu.
Thank you very much. Okay, thank you so much. Anasema Flugon ambayo imetusaidia katika kupata mafua. Sasa we are going to see through the slides what drugs, what do we mean by a drug? Why do we use drug? How do we use drug? The types of drugs. We have legal and illegal drugs. We are going to discuss all that. So it's important for us to be very attentive. So what do we mean when we talk about drugs? That's the question I was asking. So people use many different drugs, kind of drugs. These drugs may be legal or illegal, helpful or harmful. Every drug has side effects, risks, and some drugs have more risk than others, especially illegal drugs. So when we talk about legal and illegal drugs, nataka unitajie moja. Siogope, unkaa mbele. Nikizungumza kuhusu dawa haramu na ambayo sio haramu. Naam. Legal and illegal. Sema kwa sauti. Aya. Usisonge nitaisha. So legal drugs ni dawa halali. Kama Kenya tulizo ambazo tumezitaja hapa, zizo zote ni dawa za hospitali. Lakini kuna madawa ambayo Kenya sio halali kutumika. Kwa mfano kama benzodiazepam, dawa zile za psychiatric, kama sina prescription nikipata nao nje ni haramu. Sawa. Some illegal drugs that is legal and it's illegal to us, for example alcohol. Katika constitution ya Kenya is legal, isn't it? Na katika concept yetu ya Kiislamu ni nini? Haram. Okay. If you go to Tanzania, mugoka is haram, isn't it? How about Kenya? It's legal. You get it? So we're going to look at this difference of this kind of drugs. Tukisonga mbele. So commonly used drugs. Ni wasichana wetu siposikia wakitaja the psychotropics. I will share with you. We have bangi. Yesterday the boys were very active in this topic and really engaging. We have alcohol, we have tobacco, we have nicotine, glue, mugoka, and benzodiazepam. These are all psychotropic drugs. Ni madawa ya kulevya. Leo hii mimi kuja hapa sitaki tuangalie Flugogen, sitaki kuangalia Panadol. I want us to look at the psychotropic drugs. Zile dawa ambazo zinakuwa na effect to our body. Maybe if I share, nikizungumzia kuhusu cannabis. Nani anajua cannabis ni nini? Just raise your hand. Cannabis. Bang, thank you so much. So, cannabis is a name for marijuana, and we have so many types. We have the shashamane, we have the skunk, we have the... Yesterday watoto wanaambia paka flower, boys, inafurahi jana. So, it's important for us to understand these things. Because tomorrow, if you get invited or introduced, tunajua what is this. Alcohol, nafikiri sote tunaware what alcohol is. Pombe, si ndio? Tobacco, tunajua tobacco. What is tobacco? Oh, thank you. Ya kuweka hapa ugoro. Beautiful. Nicotine, cigarette. Thank you. Glue. Ya sniffing, yeah? Perfect. Mugoka ya kutafuna, lovely. Na mwisho benzodiazepams, mabugizi. Do you know what it is? What it is? What is it? Nam? Sema tu kwa sauti. Mabugizi ni zile tembe ambazo nyingi ziko nyumbani, ambao wazazi wetu, madugu zetu wameandikiwa na daktari za mental health ya depression, lakini zinakuwa abused, kama vile diazepam, CPZ, amitriptyline, tutaziona, we'll discuss about it. So our focus today, we are going to focus on psychotropics, mihadharati. Okay. So using drugs can become a problem depending on a number of factors. What drug is used? Who is using the drug? Why are we using the drugs? Where are they using the drugs? How are they using the drugs? I want to ask a question. If it's not in our family, neighbors, or in our community, we have seen people who are struggling with substance abuse, isn't it? Kama sio nyumbani, labda mjomba, ama extended family. Kama sio extended family, neighbor. Kama sio neighbor, community. Sindio? Is it? Sindio? So, what happened? That's the question. Kitu gani kimewapeleka paka wakapata lile janga? Na maybe tukiangalia okay, thank you. Maybe ukiangalia they come from very good family, familia ya Kiislamu. What went wrong? Sawa, tutajua leo. Now I want us to focus on this. Most of the time we think it's only our brothers who are struggling with substance abuse. But through research and statistics, our girls are suffering in silence. Because stigma, they cannot come out and ask for treatment and help. Because they fear to be abandoned and to be ashamed. Fikiri tunaelewana? Si ndio? Mimi amezima. Okay, it's okay. So, do you know anyone of a girl that is struggling? You don't have to mention them, just raise your hand. Somewhere, in school, neighbor. Si rika letu, labda ni mkubwa, umemwona, mara unamwona anapata taabu. In our communities, namgoja misi usongependa. Sinaambia hamjaona msichana akipata taabu na drugs. Nikizungumza drugs nazungumzia mogoka, the smallest. Ile ya kuvuta itwa nini ile? Mwaijua vipi? Sishaona watu wanatumia madada zetu. Yes. So we are going to talk about the small drugs. Most of the time tunasema hakuna mtu akafika katika kiwango cha kuwa dependent kabla hajaanza through experimental. Tutaangalia process, how do someone coming from a good family, good education ends up struggling with substance abuse, and what are the underlying factors? Ni vitu gani vinasababisha mpaka inatokezea hivyo? Wewe tumsubia Hamisi ya share screen. Do you have any questions mpaka hapo? Aya, thank you. So, mara nyingi we always say that nilipenda definition ya ukhti wangu, msichana wangu mdogo. Tunapotia drug, you see the function of a human body is being determined by what? Mtu anyoshe mkono. Function ya binadamu ya mwili mzima. Sema, nimefurahi. Say it, please. Yes, say it. I want them to hear. You're right.
The brain.
Thank you. Lovely. So the function of a human body is from the brain. Sawa. Brain do determine in send transmission through all parts of the body. If I want to go to the toilet, it's not the toilet that comes out. The brain sends a message to the digestive system to do an excretion. Right now I'm talking to you, my hands are doing this. My hands, if my brain is not functioning. The brain is sending messages, signaling to you that explain to them by using your hands. I'm removing my glasses. It's not my hands. My brain is telling my hands, remove the glasses. So when we put drugs in our body, it starts affecting what? The brain. So tutaangalia what kind of drugs affects the brain in what way. So if I ask, why do people use drugs, Menyamaza? I'll support you this. People use drugs for so many reasons. Different people use different drugs for different reasons. You may experiment with drugs because of curiosity. One of your colleagues comes with a vape. Mnaingia mahali nyuma na kwamba let's try it. Si or in school, isn't it? Nataka kusikia, msiogope hao walimu wenu. Mwaogopa na mtaki kuparticipate. Nyinyi walimu mnatuletea taabu. Wasichana wangu wana information lakini I feel there's a lot of fear, they don't want to participate. Tuwatoe nje. Tuwatoe nje alafu mic tuizime. Hatuwezi watoa kwa sababu wao pia wanajifundisha, si ndio? So I believe wao wakisikia they're not going to judge us with anything, because I believe all of us we are good girls, alhamdulillah. The information we have ni ya kusikia na kuona, si ndio? So let's share about that. Okay? So Ustad, what happens here stays here. Shukran. Curiosity. Most of the time, the age from 9 to 19, we have development changes in our body. Tunaita katika psychology, we call it growth and development stages. We are shifting from one stage to another. We are coming out from the childhood, we're going into teenagers, isn't it? Our body is changing, our thinking is changing. We need to fit into the society. So we are influenced by external factors, peer pressure. Sindio? I want to be like people. I want to become like society. I want to become what people are doing. It's so easy because our brain is growing na inakuwa rahisi mtu akikushawishi kitu, you flow with what is happening. From the way we talk, the way we dress, the way everything. And right now we have social media, which is a big factor in psychological influence to the youth. I'm talking to 9 to 11. Your friends are doing it. That's an influence. I want to do it too. I'm bored. I'm getting old. I'm becoming a teenager. My mom does not understand me. My mom still treats me like a baby. I'm not a baby anymore. Yes, you're not a baby anymore, but your mom will always think you like a what? So it gives you the emptiness. You are there, but you feel bored. Kila saa mama wanisumbua, mama waniboesha. But you want to just close the bedrooms or isolate yourself from your mother. You may take certain drugs to change how you feel. Someone tells you when you use this, it makes you feel active, makes you feel participating. You may believe it's fun or fashionable. Again, I've repeated that. You want to, because it's in the society, this is the thing that's happening, everyone is doing shisha, I'm going to do what? Shisha. You want to be controlled because you want to fit in to look like how they are. And finally, isolation. All these are just predisposal factors of why we get into drugs. I'm saying this, I'm not looking at the boys today, I'm looking at the girls. And this happens in a very close circuit. Wasichana si kama watoto wa kiume, they come out loud. Wasichana paka wazazi wajue, it will take a long time. Na mzazi akishajua, mzazi anakuwa na stigma, hataki mtu mwingine ajue aibu. And it happens. Na tutaona what happened. I'll use my girl, call her X. When my girl X started using, and people hide about it, and then the disease grew up until it became big, what happened? Msichana wangu namuita X, huh? I miss you, okay? Thank you. I miss you, ameongeza screen. So why do people use drugs? We've talked about it. You may continue to use drugs because you enjoy it. So we will see the first psychoactive reaction of the brain. Now, here comes the story. The brain is the function of the body, isn't it? So inapopata kitu kipya, the brain gets excited. I will talk about a very simple drug. How many of us know caffeine? Where do you find caffeine? And tea. Let's talk about that. And caffeine is a drug, it's a stimulant. Okay? So when we take very good tea every morning, the brain through the dopamine and the serotonin get excited. It gets the euphoric feeling. Nikikunywa ile chai nasikia raha, si ndio? Macho yafunguka. After a prolonged period, the body gets adapted and the body has tolerance. Siku napokosa chai, what happens to my body? Kwa sauti. Kwa sauti, you're all right. I get a headache. Yeah. So look, I'm looking at the scenario. Every 10 o'clock I have an amazing tea. So when I miss the tea, the first thing that happens, kabla hajafika headache, naanza kuwa irritable, naanza kuwa na mkali. Unaelewa? Naanza vitu vidogo vya niudhi, masaa yakisonga kichwa kinaniuma. Nisipopata chai, hata kuzungumza na mtu nashindwa na kuwa mkali. Nafikiri hii tunaiona wingi ambao wanapenda chai Ramadhani ile siku ya kwanza ya siku ya pili. It happens to them, and that is only coffee and tea. So now let's look at the big drugs that we're talking about, like vape, like tobacco, like marijuana. So when we put it in the body, there are two things that happen. We call it the psychoactive reaction. We get a reward, either negative reward or a positive reward. So my girls are two girls, X and Y. They started using vape. So my X girl, her brain gets positive reward. When it gets the positive reward, the dopamine wants it again. So inampatia positive reward, anasikia raha. My Y girl anapata negative reward, she discontinue using. At either tatapika, atasikia kisunzi, ataichukia. So all of us have different brain chemical component in it. So my main target is X. So she gets positive reward, continue using. Maybe she'll want to use it immediately, but kuna reservation that she's going to use after a period of time. When she started using, kuna kuwa na process sasa. Inakuwa social using, behavioral using, inakuwa chronic using, until she became dependent. She cannot function anymore. Akikosa anakuwa kama ule mtu wa chai, anakuwa na nini? Headache. So huyu wa bangi tunaita withdrawal symptoms. Kwa lugha yetu mtaisikia hizo arosto. So when the withdrawal symptom comes in, the body withdraws and shows some symptoms with very severe headache, cutting of the stomach, kuharisha, wengine wanashikwa na homa, hasira, ukali, irritability. Utasikia mimi nakwambia, mimi na rosto msisikii vizuri. Akipata tu ile kitu anafanya nini? Anafanya nini? Anapona, anasikia vizuri. So hiyo process tutaiangalia how yule X, msichana wangu X anafika kwenye utegemezi, kwenye dependency. Na tukifika kwenye utegemezi, watu wengi wanashindwa kuacha kwa sababu ya fear of this pain. Withdrawal is very, very painful. Ukishafika kwenye dependency stage. So you may continue to use drugs because you enjoy it. Usually it's very nice at the early stages. If it's stress, you forget about stress. If it's fitting in, you fit in. But through the progression, you get somewhere now, you cannot come out, and the reality is, nothing has changed. Even if you stop, stress is pale pale, everything is pale pale. Abuse and trauma, underlying factor, wingi wetu tunakuwa na trauma, childhood trauma, dysfunctional family, baba yopiga mtoto nyumbani, baba yopiga mama nyumbani, matusi, mtoto na feel less of a person, low self-esteem, guilt and shame leads us to use drugs as a coping skill. Sometimes drug use can become an important part of your life to cope with emotional, psychological and social problems you're experiencing. I think I've mentioned that. So this is what we've been talking about. I think we see the three diagrams. The first corner is alcohol. On the left, ukiona just marijuana bangi. In the middle, those are the tablets. Tumezita nini leo? Sema kwa sauti. Mabugizi. It's very important for us to grasp these names, huh? Cigarettes, na hiyo upande hii shindano mnaiona? Mara nyingi IDU, mnajua maana IDU? What is it? Thank you. Injecting drug users. IDU. When you hear about IDU, just know they are injecting drug users. They inject their drugs through the ultraviolence. Okay. So this is what I just mentioned. Some of the reasons, but we usually say this is just underlining reasons. Curiosity, to fit in, peer pressure, rebellion, poor role models. You don't find the right person in your family that you can look up. Everyone in the family is dysfunctional. Pressure, so rather pleasure, and to relieve stress. So, what do you know about drugs? Now I'm going to define the drug. Thank you. She did an amazing work. Drug is any substance which is natural or synthetic. When used, it affects the central nervous system, CNS, that is the brain and the spinal cord. So kwa ufupi anatuambia drug ni kitu chochote ambayo either inaweza toka imetoka chini ya ardhi, mwarobaini, chai, si ndio? Ama zile ambazo zimetengenezwa kwa maabara, synthetic chemical in laboratories. When we use it, it affects the central nervous system. The central nervous system is the brain and the spinal cord. Okay, that's where they are all transmission of messages, the nerval. That is brain and spinal cord. Different drugs produce different effects on body organs. There are some drugs when we use, it makes us become active. We call them the stimulants. There's some drugs when we use, it makes us go down. We call it the depressants. And there's some drugs when you use, it confuses the 5 major senses. We call them the hallucinogens. Do you know the 5 major senses? Perfect. So this, I've talked about this when I started. We have the psychotropic drugs and then we have the psychoactive drugs. Psychotropic drugs ni zile dawa sisi tumezitaja, nikasema leo tuzizungumzie Panadol, Flugen, zote zile ambazo nimetaja. These are substances that when taken into one system affect mental process, e.g. Perception, cognition, consciousness, or mood and emotion. These are drugs meant for leisure, such as alcohol, nicotine, heroin, muguka. Psychoactive ndio mihadharati. Psychotropics, these are the normal drugs. These are substances that affects how brain works for purpose of curing and prevention of diseases. So we always know that we have the normal drugs, which is the psychotropics, and the psychoactive. Tuseme tu ni madawa kulevya. Okay. So we're going to take 5 minutes. I want us, when we are looking at this, we be very observant. This is my girl X, and how the reward system she go through her brain. When she was a beautiful girl, young girl, msafi, madrasa, schoolie, akapata curiosity about the drug and how it went the drug, and then how dependent it became. Thank you. Let me see if you can just play it. Oh, sorry. Look. Let me see. Nataka uweke hapo, uweke pause. Ah? Sawa basi. All right. So nataka 3 batches. Line 1 moja ya katikati na mwisho. Explain about the video. Only a minute. Ustadha zitanisaidia pick kila batch moja moja. Ruksa, endelea. Vile umeelewa? Pardon? Huyo wetu X.
Yule X pale mara kwanza kwa bado hajaona ile kitu. Ambayo ile orange thing tusemeni
Tuite itwa nini hiyo siku hizi tunatumia sana? Vape.
Mara kwanza mpita kwa hiyo vape akaona ile kama kuna mahali akaona hiyo vape. Curiosity yake kwa mwanzo hajui vape ni akapitana nayo. Then the next time akaiona hiyo vape akasema let me try it kidogo nijaribu. Alipojaribu akaona onyesha kwa cloud 9. Kumbe hii ni nzuri. Akaenda sasa hivi mwenyewe nichukue tena. Akachukua tena. Demo akichukua pale mwanzo unajua immune system yake iko so high. Sasa demo akichukua demo yapata ile affect yake. Mwenyewe achukua yani wazidi kuwa na ile nguvu. Yani mpaka mwisho akawa dependent. Yani kila kienda unajua nikichukua hii ndio nitafika kule cloud 9 kule. Nitaenda faster. So mbona kwa hiyo enda faster. Alipofika pale mbele sasa kila kichukua ndio yazidi kumaffect. Pale kwa hiyo ina haraka sahi yorudi yani system yake sasa ile ndio shamla mwili wake. Ndio pale mwisho ukaona yani hawezi tena kufunction bila ile na ile ishamdhuru mwili wake.
Shukran, mashallah. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Beautiful. Nafikiri ameisummarize perfectly, Njoo sikimbie, mashallah. Mimi naona tushamaliza kazi ya mimi tende. Yeah, please, kama waweza moja utosha.
Sometimes ilikuwa so uliona ilikuwa inaonyesha huyo animal vile ilikuwa going on about his day, akaona hiyo substance na vile alikuwa na hiyo curiosity akaichukua hiyo substance akaiconsume. Na vile alivyoconsume ile substance pale mwanzo alikuwa excited now ikaanza affect slowly by slowly. So vile alivyokuwa akichukua ikaanza wear out after a few minutes, like after a while. Alipokuwa akichukua yani alikuwa feel good for only like a short span of time.
Yes.
After a small period of time ilikuwa medication vile. And the more alikuwa yachukua hiyo substance, the more it affects the body. As you can see, it grew more gray and started getting weight and yeah.
Shukran, barakallahu. Takbir. Mashallah, both girls have explained so well. Stage ya kwanza, X aliona vape. Na nakisema kuona ni kwamba alikaribishwa na rafiki yake Y, lakini akaipita. Curiosity kamfanya nini? Aiangalie. Hakuitumia. So akasonga mbele, ikawa experimental. Sawa. Akaona wacha nifanye nini? Niguse kidogo, si ndio? Alipogusa kidogo akapata ile fast psychoactive reaction. Akapata euphoric feeling. Nimependa vile nimesema cloud 9. It took him to cloud 9. It took her to the cloud 9. So that cloud 9 is when the problem began. Once the brain has received the signal of the cloud 9, it wanted again. So inaanza kuwa social. Alifly juu, akafanya akadunda chini. So she was like happy. So it wasn't a must every day. Akakaa kipindi kirefu, afa akaja tena akatumia. This time akawa anatumia social. Maanake social use ni kwamba anaweza tumia mara moja, skuli zikifungwa mpaka skuli zifanye nini? Zifungwe. Lakini this time aliporuka juu, aliposhuka chini alidunda mara mbili. Dindi, mlimwona? Negative consequences zishaanza kutokezea, lakini akazipuuza. Akaenda kwenye stage ya tatu, habitual. Sasa habitual akaanza kwenda mbio. Hamkumwona pale anakimbia mbio sana. She was chasing it because withdrawal ishaanza kutokezea, maumivu. Alipoichukua ile habitual, aliporuka kwanza akadunda mpaka akajitingisha akajifuta. Negative consequences zinakuwa nyingi, lakini she didn't want to bother. Finally akawa chronic. Alidunda akadunda, mwisho ile giza, she was dependent. She wants to come out but she cannot. Now she's living to use and use to live. Ndio pale sasa mwasema mtu kwani amelaaniwa, amekuwa na nini? But the reality, this is a disease of the brain, addiction. I want us to know addiction is a disease of what? So when we put a drug in the brain, we put a disease that it becomes very hard to cure. It's a chronic disease, a very progressive disease. Just like any other chronic disease, diabetic. Haina tiba, lakini iko na treatment. Songia miss. So these are the stages my girls have just shared with us. The first stage is no use. We are good girls, alhamdulillah. We come to madrasa, good families. You understand? We father our Quran, everything. But apparently, tunapata ushawishi kupitia zile vitu tumezitaja, society, peers, fitting in, and then we try to experiment. So when we try an experiment, it happens what happened to our client X. And then we go to an occasion of use. To use once in a while. It can even take 6 months. But the brain has already been activated. So we don't use it regularly, yeah? We don't get that high, no one knows. It's only us who knows it. And then it becomes, the social part of it becomes routine. Every holidays lazima nitumie, na maybe wengine tunaenda paka every weekend. Lakini tunapata sasa baada ya muda tushakuwa, siku zikisonga, tunaanza kuwa katika chronic part of it, ambapo we don't function anymore. Our performances in school inafanya nini? Kushuka. Nyumbani na kwa wajeuri. My language towards my teachers, my parents becomes different. I feel that I'm special than everyone in the house because my brain now is being functioning by something else, myself. Lose control about one's intent to use, lose control about our behaviors, and then apparently now we go to the last stage. We have to use for us even to eat. We have to use for us even to go to toilet. We have to use even for us to sleep. That's when we call the dependency and the last stage, where now we become totally addicted. The compulsion, the obsessiveness, the self-centeredness, you always think, thoughts, everything is about what is the next fix. Hapa, there's extreme change in attitude. Everybody knows and everyone knows and no one can do anything about it because you are very hostile. You have all the defense mechanism. So this is a research Mewa did with Nakad a couple of years ago after the COVID. And maybe I'm ask a question. We are talking about the brain. When does the brain of a girl stop growing? Umri gani ndio ubongo brain ya mtoto wa kike inasimama kukua? Amesikuja na zawadi? Just raise your hand. When does the brain of a girl stop developing? Kwa sauti? Mashallah, 28 years old, beautiful. 28 years. Wengine, when does the brain of a girl fully stop developing? 18. Thank you. 45. Beautiful. 25. Mashallah. Last alafu nisonge mbele. 40. Beautiful. Higher. When is the brain of a male person stops fully developing? Naam? Naam? 80. Naam? Naam? 60. Leo wasichana mnkosa nyote. Jana wavulana walipata 40, mashallah. 50, haya. Zawadi yangu mimi si tuenda nao wenyewe nyumbani. Haya. Nyote mnkosa. Nataka hii tuishike. I think tukishika hii is enough for us to understand. The brain of a male stops developing at the age of 25. Okay. The brain of a female stops developing at the age of 23. Okay. So now we want to see what is the effect of either the boy or the man who take drugs when they still have the age of 9 to 23 or 25. What happens? You understand? Because it already interferes with the brain. So we did a very big research with Nakada, and it came out as a result that teenagers, when you talk about teenagers, is 9 to 19. Teenagers are move through the stages above at a greater rate speed than the adults. So when a teenager starts using less than the age of 23, the rate of you to become addicted is very high compared to those who are adults. So mtu mzima kuanzia miaka 35 akianza kutumia, it takes them 8 to 10 years to go from stage 1 until dependency. So tumeona zile stage, it takes them that year ndo afike kule mbele. Lakini sisi teenagers ambao tumekaa hapa, wala Mwenyezi Mungu asitujalie, yoyote atakayefanya wrong decision ya kutumia any substance, when I talk about substance, the one puff of vape, it activates what? The brain. It takes us only 3 months to 15 months for our brain to become addicted. How about that? So we are a very vulnerable population. Ndio maana watu wote ambao wanafanya biashara za madawa wanatutarget sisi, because they know once you use it you'll want it again. Okay. So signs and problems when we appear, nikisema peers sisi ni colleagues, utakapoona matatizo, because most of time I tell teachers, I tell caregivers, ukiwa mwalimu ama ukiwa mhusika katika institution, these are the symptoms to pick when you know that the girl has a problem. Ukiona ghafla to my client X has started changing behaviors, changing her friends, her talk, mazungumzo yake, ile rudeness, ndio kuna ile anakuwa, she's moving from one stage to another, lakini it does not guarantee her to talk like that. You always have to find out what is going on home. Lazima ujue nyumbani kuko vipi. Isolating self, anajiona yuko special, she cannot fit in with others, kila wakati yataka kuwa kando. That's a problem. A loss of interest in things that were interest before. Zamani mlipokuwa naye alikuwa lower classes, alikuwa very physical, very engaging in sports and all activities. Siku hizi hata hana hamu ya kufanya vile vitu, anajiona she's important. That is a very big red flag. Trouble with school and parents. All the time cases. Low self-care. Akija, she doesn't care about herself, she's unkept. This is a problem. Okay. Na nikisema ile siwaambie ustadh, hata nyumbani, school, mkiona wenzenu wana hizo tabia, ujue kuna shida. So you learn from that. So facts that you guys should know is drugs change how the brain works even when just used once. I want you to take this home. Yote nimezungumza labda utashindwa kushika, lakini shika hii peke yake. Drugs change how the brain works even when used just. So unapopata ile fast reactive ya ile fast puff ya vape, tayari there's a damage. So as a preventive measure, today we are lucky enough to get this information. We should not be curious about trying it because we know what it does. Some substance create addiction quickly. Some of the drugs that are out there take us to the stages very fast. And I will talk about Mugoka. Mugoka is one of the drugs that is very, very addictive because of the chemical component found in it. It's called cathinone. Okay, Najua nyumbani kama sio kwetu tunaona wenzetu, it's affecting families. Early use increases health risk for girls. Wasichana tunapotumia dawa, nikisema dawa nataka muelewe kwamba it's the first drug that I'm talking about. Okay? Inaleta mental health issue, drug-induced psychosis, schizophrenia, depression, major depressive disorder, personality disorder, zote zinatokana na drugs, hususan mugoka. Reproductive health for girls, it really complicates your reproductive system. Wengi wanapata matatizo ya periods zao za mwezi zinakuwa very abnormal. And long-term dependency, that's what we've talked about it. So saying no protects your dignity, future goals, and spiritual values. So it's important for us to understand, how can we say no? Saying no is the environment the friends we hang around with. If you find that you are getting confused, you want to fit in society, reach out to your teachers, reach out to your parents, reach out to those people who are close to you, confide to them that I feel confused. And I believe sote ambao tumekaa hapa tumepitia, ambao tumekaa juu tumepitia stage hii, and we have an experience to share with you. You know what my teacher told me? Say, experience does not mean that I'm better than you. It's only that I did the mistake earlier before you. So all the ustadhas ambao wamekaa pale, they have an experience. They either they learn from the mistake, they know how to deal with it. So you're not alone. Talk to them. Okay? Thank you. So our protective factors that we're going to use is, one, we have to have a very strong faith and values. Alhamdulillah, leo tumekuja kwa madrasa, we have to have a lot of strong faith and values. Zetu za Kiislamu ndio njia rahisi ya kutuprotect sisi. Supportive family, positive friends, I've mentioned about that, staying active in school and community programs. So it's very important to not isolate yourself and reach out to teachers, and asking for help early. I don't have to go to hizo nishazitaja, hizo slides ni nyingi. I think I should stop there. Si ndio? Perfect, because of time. Questions time. No, I miss, just go. Yes, I want us to look at that. Yes, I want to ask you. Thank you, Miss, for 2 minutes. So what we are seeing in the screen is stimulants. Stimulants, these are the drugs that activates the brain, inafanya brain iende bio. Through the show of hands, nataka nikiuliza mtu anyoshe mkono. Ile kona ya juu kabisa kule ni nini? Haya, mshasema kwa pamoja. Vape. And vape ziko different types of module. Kuna vape inakuja kama kalamu. Walimu pia hawajui. Yes. Inakuja like a pen. Okay. Zingine zinakuja kama key holder. Unaweza shika tu ustadha sijui ni nini. So there are so many modules of vape. Ya katikati ni nini? Cigarettes. Hii ya huku mwisho ni nini? Tobacco, beautiful. Kule mwisho chini? Naam? Sema tena. Mogoka. Those are the leaves, mogoka. Ya chini katikati? Shisha, beautiful. Ya mwisho? Naam? Aya, tusikizeni. This is very important now. I want us to be very keen. Hii ya chini kabisa, these two, what is this? Sema kwa sauti. Tambu, kubero. We have it in our society. Wale ambao wanasoma skuli za Kihindi sana zatumika. Oshwal, Memo na Gakan. Nafikiri mwanisikia. Sasa it's socially accepted by the Asian community. This thing has a very strong tobacco in it. Iko na harufu, na utapata wasichana, mimi nishaona wasichana umri wetu wanatafuna kwa sababu baba anatafuna, mama anatafuna nyumbani. But the problem with this, it has very tobacco, na vile tumekubaliana, when we put any drugs in our brain, it activates what? The brain. So we have to be very careful tunapokuwa shuleni. Our fellow Tena ni watoto wa Kiislamu, watoto wa Kihindi, watoto wa Memon, I don't want to mention names. They use this. I think you've seen this, huh? So we have to be very careful with Kuber. Kuber has very strong tobacco in it. Okay. Depression is another drug. We call it downwards. When we use these drugs, it lowers the function and activity of the brain. Now, when it lowers the function of the brain, inakufanya uende chini. Wale wa mateja wanatumia unga, what do? They sleep, sindio? People who use alcohol, after using alcohol, what do? They sleep on the road, isn't it? 20. So these are the depressants. Far East is alcohol, zinauzwa sana kila mahali. Mkienda ma university kesho, mtu asiwadanganya akakwambia ukitumia hii itakufanya uwe. These are the all-rounders. They interfere with the 5 major senses, and what we have mostly is cannabis, bangi, we have the LSD, shisha, hash, ecstasy, and magic mushroom. So we have so many types of bangi around. Ile kule ni skunk. This is a new mode of bangi which is made in hybrid in houses from Mozambique. It's very common in Mombasa right now. When someone smokes it where Hamisi is seated, you don't smell it. You understand? They mix it with cigarettes. So we have to be careful. People should not be zamani labda tunajua harufu ya bangi. Sisi haina tena harufu. So no one should convince you on that. These are ecstasies majorly found in Nairobi. We have them in Kisauni and Nyali. Do you know what is that on the corner left? Mushroom. Do you know that mushroom is a drug? Yes, today you should know that. Kwa Kiswahili to yoga. We have drugs, we have mushrooms that are edible, za kuliwa. We have mushrooms that are poisonous. And now we have mushrooms that are drugs. The magic mushroom, they are, ukikula, una hallucinate, you see things that are not there. Yes. So when we go out of this, when we go to the next stage, we get dependent, we go to colleges. These are the things that are going to wait for us. My girls, I'm preparing you. Hizi ndo ukweli, the reality that is waiting for us in colleges, in universities. So tukicheka tukifika kule tutasahau kama mushroom ni drug. Thank you. Huwezi kusahau. Na hii ni shisha. Inhalants. Another type of drugs in inhalants ambazo tunaweka kwa pua. We have them around us. And I've seen when I do this in other schools, some of the learners have shared with me some very critical information. When we inhale them, they numb our brain. So we have like the glue, paint thinner, nail polish, light fuels, sprays, and dark bonds. Q-Tex, naona zile zina. So ule kijana pale juu ni glue, alikuwa ni client wetu, ndio maana natumia picha yake. We were doing the street family program and I had this concept, so haina shida nikiweka picha yake. Petroli, generator, baba ameenda kutia mafuta, kuna ile jerikeni iko empty, haina mafuta. Mtu asikudanganye ufanye nini? Unuse, itakupatia fast active reaction. Yes. Maji yangu naeka hapo. Na maji yangu. Na uliza. Maji yangu wapi? Time nzuri sana, tusiona sasa. Aya. Mimi napenda pakisikia unajua kuna interesting information. Share with me. Sema tu. Hakuna mtu wa kuona, sema chochote. Ananiuliza hata ile fume pale karibu na petrol station pia itanisumbua. Ananiuliza this question, ananiuliza. Na mimi nawauliza hata ile fume tukwenda kwenye petrol station, ile fume ule jamaa attendant amefungua. Kwanza nikiuliza ile fume ukisikia watu wasikia vipi? Thank you for your honesty. Twasikia raha. So imagine uiweke kwenye pua ivute na nguvu. Itafanya nini? Itakutia kisunzi, si ndio? So zile za petrol station, now we have learned, let's be careful. We should not be close to it. You understand? Kama tuweza finika na hijab, pua yetu itakuwa vizuri, okay? Napenda vile unasema wasia raha. And that's what the brain wants. Ubongo wangu wataka hiyo. That's what the brain wants. Now this is very critical. Pale mwisho kwenye kona tuona nini? Marker pen. Do you know that when you open marker pen on the back, alafu we sniff, inakufanya usikie kisunzi? Mwajua, si ndio? Thank you. So, maustadha, you have to be very careful. Permanent markers msiweke kwenye klasi. Always take back with you. Yes. Nail polish, hizi vitu zote ziko kwenye store zetu. So, mtu asitudanganye tunaweza kuzinihal. It's going to interfere with our brain. So, over the counter, hizi ni dawa ambazo tumezizungumzia. Pia zinakuwa abused. Kama zile madawa za benzodiazepam, amitriptyline, CPZ. We have a very common drug right now. Inaitwa codeine, dawa ya kukohoa ambayo iko na opioid, inakuwa kwenye classification ya opioids. Ni similar, component yake ni sima kama heroin. Mimi songa. Mnaona ile dawa ya kukohoa? Mnajua codeine? Yes. Kwa wale wakubwa, I want you to go and do research. This is a homework I'm giving you. Go see the classification of codeine. Codeine is a syrup that is made from opioids. Opioids is what we have in heroin. Okay. And katika classifications of opioids, we have methadone, we have morphine, we have tramadol, we have codeine, and all this codeine falls in. So the chemical components of opioids, the young boys and young girls, they mix it with Sprite, the whole bottle, or they drink it. Ukikunywa, it gives you the dizziness ya kutinga. Nafikiri tunaelewana. It makes you feel high. So this is one of the drugs that has been commonly abused by teenagers. So today, let's be careful. Mtu akija anajifanya na tena kohoa akwambia tuipige chupa nzima. Just know that you're going to get high and you're going to get a positive reward on your brain. Piriton. I had someone mentioning about a Piriton. Piriton is another commonly abused drugs by our community. Nyumbani mtoto akiwa mdogo halali wapawa nini? The psychoactive reaction ishaanza akiwa na miaka 2 bila yeye kujua mamake ashamtia kwenye addiction. Sisi kama tuko pamoja. So we as parents, we do not have to feed our kids with these medicines. Painkillers, Piriton. So when we use drugs, we have 3 ways to use drugs. We have drug use, drug misuse, and drug abuse. I want someone to explain that. What is drug use? The correct usage of medicine, isn't it? When prescribed by a doctor. Okay. What is misuse? He is using the drug for the wrong purpose. Mtoto usiku analia, sienda kupeleka kwa daktari, nachukua Piriton, nafanya nini? Ama mimi nilikuwa na skin reaction, nikatumia dawa, alafu X ampata hivyo, pia naambia tumia mimi nisaidia. That's misuse. Misuse is using drugs without a prescription. Abuse is when we use drugs for the purpose of leisure and recreational. Tunataka kutumia dawa ili tupate raha. Okay. So I want you to mushike hizo tatu. So some of the effects of the drugs, this is what happens. I mean, in this picture, what do you see in that picture? Isolation, desperation, despair. Okay. So heroin, category twende juu, sitaki wa heroin, twende juu, nataka zile ndogo ndogo, twende juu. Aya, mugoka, a very strong stimulant, Stimulant is what activates the brain, has chemical component, affect the serotonin, the brain part of the chemical part of the brain, which controls sleep, mood regulator, cognition, coordination, in effect. So when we use mugoka in a speed messages between the brain, I'm sure not mugoka vile wanaendaga mbio. So you can imagine usiku halali, what happens? Mugoka right now is a legal drug that we have in Kenya that has the biggest mental health effect, more than heroin, more than alcohol. Ukija rehab, ukienda kwa Mama Mina, ukija Mewa, ukienda rehab zote, ukienda Portrees, all those who have psychiatric condition is because of drug-induced psychosis caused by mugoka. It's cheap, 50 bob, social acceptable. Hakuna mzazi za kuambia ni haramu. Atakwambia afadhali kule mugoka kuliko kunywa tembo. Misconception of our society. Okay, while in reality mugoka is haram. Traditionally, okay, use of mugoka typically twende juu. So effects inakuwa na irritability. Most of the drugs inakuwa na kukereka, kitu kidogo mtu anakuwa mkali, ukimuuliza swali hataki kuulizwa, ukimwambia hivi yeye ana hostility. Change in sleeping habits, usiku halali ataka kulala asubuhi mchana mzima. High blood pressure inapeleka damu mbio. Hyperactive, yeye kila saa iko teke. Kila saa ana shughuli nyingi, hata ukimwangalia hana kazi yote yofanya. Depressed moods, ana swing of moods. All of a sudden iko high, mara anaenda low, tunaita bipolar. And finally lack of appetite. And this cuts across, most of these people who go under drugs, they have blood vision, constipation, impotence in male, fertility issue in female, ulcers, mental health disorders. We talked about it, the psychosis, depression, anxiety, personality disorders, major depressive disorders, violent behaviors, mood swings. We just talked about it. So after the COVID, when the schools were closed for a year, we had a big pandemic after COVID yenyewe. A lot of generation ya miaka yetu waliingilia mugoka. Even what is going to happen right now, because schools have been closed for 2 months, and so many of young boys and young girls are going to be introduced to drugs. We like it, we don't like it. That's the reality. Some of the boys at the ground right now, no madrasa, no school. No, baba amewachia shilingi 100, anaenda kula chapati ya shilingi 20 na baki na 80 bob. Mwenzake anamshawisha kama mugoka na sigara 2, anaanza. So tayari process imeanza. So in 2020 we did a very big research on mugoka, and we realized that an estimate of 20,000 were diagnosed with mental disorder in the year 2020-21. Mewa rehab and Topanga. Very big number, abnormal. Nikisema drug induced, si ati ukija rehab tunakufanya treatment peke yake. Hauwezi kufanya hiyo treatment kwa sababu akili sharuka paka tukutume Portrees uje na dawa za psychiatry. So he has a dual diagnosis, a substance use disorder and a drug induced psychosis. So you can imagine. And most of the mental, the secondary diagnoses were schizophrenia, severe depression, anxiety disorder, bipolar, acute. These are very sensitive mental issues. And that's the reality. We see, angalia mkitembea mkienda nyumbani, mwangalia ni kila mtu anakula mugoka, you'll just find there's something wrong up there, isn't it? Sindio? Any questions? Now it's time for questions. I know there are so many questions. I'm seated. Clarifications. Anything you guys want, anything. Thank you. Shapata mmoja kule na swali. Tusiogope. Thank you. Tusiogope. Hapa ndo angalia, this is where you get information. Amujui nani atakuja tena hivi wapate information kama hizi, ya? Shukran. Sawa, kaa hivyo hivyo.
I was asking about energy drinks.
MashaAllah. That's a very nice question. How about the energy drinks? Because I mentioned, do you guys know caffeine? You can say yes, huh? And we say caffeine is found in what? Tea and coffee. So in Red Bull, in Predator, we have high level of caffeine, and they're very addictive. For our age, I will recommend we do not use any Azam energy drink, Red Bull, predator because itakupatia ile kuchangamka, and you don't need it. These energy drinks is just recommended for those people who do extreme exercise and all age people. Okay, for us we don't need to stimulate our brain. We can wake up, if I feel bored, you just do your meditation and start doing an exercise, you'll be activated. That's a good question. Red Bull, all energy drinks have high level of stimulants in caffeine.
When they drink energy drinks, some friends feel active, they feel less active.
She's asking, some people when they use energy drink, they don't feel active, they feel less active. That's very true. As I said, our brain, I shared about X and Y. When we use the verb, X alipata positive reward, si ndio? Y akapata nini? So kuna watu wengine wakitumia haiwapatii stimulation. All right, that's a beautiful question. I already talked about it. Thank you. Maswali tutaka mingi, time nzuri. Jana leo tunkuja mapema. Alafu mimi na maswali msiponiuliza.
Tuseme mtu ni mgonjwa sawa,
Naam.
ana epilepsy.
Naam.
Kisha zile drugs akiambiwa atumie. Kisha aache kutumia. Then zimexpire.
Naam.
Hiyo dawa zifanya kama si.
Thank you. She's paka nimesimama. That's an amazing question. She's talking about epileptic. An individual is diagnosed with epileptic and he's on medication, alafu akawa na adherence of medication, akaziruka, alafu akazitumia vile anataka. Je, ni drug ama si drug? Epileptic is a condition, it's a brain condition. Mara nyingi wanatumia Lagatin kwa treatment ya epileptic. Kifafa ni ugonjwa wa brain. Na pale saida nilikuwa nawatajia zile prescription medication ambazo nasema zinakuwa abused. Hizo dawa ni dawa ambazo zinakuwa prescribed na daktari. I have a client, because I'll share, you won't know. He's epileptic. Now, he's a drug addict. He abuses his own medication. So this can be in different ways. If that particular individual anatumia madawa zake epileptic on drug use, itamfanyia kazi. Lakini huyu mimi namzungumzia yeye yatumia heroin, alafu na kifafa, alafu yatumia Lagatin, zile Lagatin zaziacha. Kuna issue nyingine, when we do not adhere as the prescription the doctor has written, kuna kitu tunaita recurrent of episode, zile symptoms zinazorejea. So huyu ambaye unamzungumzia ni epileptic, ametumia dawa zake akawacha, mwisho anazitumia anavyotaka, he's abusing it. Na akibuse anakuwa becomes an addict. Na kuna chances atatumia dawa zingine. But that's a very good question. I want us to understand drug use, drug abuse and drug misuse. Hiyo dawa ambayo daktari ameniandikia naweza abuse. Hiyo daktari ameniandikia naweza misuse. Sawa sawa? Na naweza kuuse. So epileptic is a brain disease na dawa zake ni dawa ambazo zinakuwa abuse, zinauzwa maeneo. Lagatin inaitwa. Sawa? Seizure ni convulsion. Seizure inatokana kwa malfunction of messages in the brain, alafu unapata fits. Sawa sawa? So when a person goes through epileptic, just make sure first you keep the first safety precautions. Unamtoa vitu asijume ulimi, you can put something ajume. Seizures, hata mraibu ambaye sio epileptic, alcoholic, akipata severe withdrawals, the brain will send wrong messages, alafu anapata convulsion. Convulsion ni kwamba mwili wake unafanya fits. Kama hujui unaweza babaika, unaweza fikiri anakufa, lakini mkimpatia time alafu anarejea tena sawa. But make sure he is in a safe place. Thank you. Anything? This is a very scientific question that anauliza. Naam. Mwasikia? Wasichana wametoka skuli wamechoka, saa yote wanataka partner. Ukhti ananiuliza, je, inaweza kuwa addiction, si ndio? Na mimi nauliza sasa, tushasoma, inaweza kuwa addiction? Yes. How do we deal? Yes, I know this age. Na regular pale we are transiting from childhood to teenager. Our body changes. our hormones are changing. Headache will be part of it. How do we treat our headache and body pains without medication? What do we do? One, thank you, sleep. Secondly, hydration. We need a lot of fluid. The brain is a soft tissue that when we take a lot of water, inafanya nini? Ina relax. So we don't need to take Panadol. We have enough sleep, good diet, and a lot of water. Okay, thank you. Aya, swali kule. Sikusikii. Sikusikii. Na atamsaidia. Okay, that's a good question. You don't have enough time to sleep after school. Perfect. I went to school, and I believe everyone went to school. And you guys are very lucky. Your system of education is not like ours. We did I finished my primary in 1988. So, so our system was the Moi system. Tell me, how many hours is enough for us to sleep? Huh? 8 hours. Aibu. Amufai kulala 8 hours nyinyi. Sema. Naam? No, for us students 9 to 19, how many hours are we supposed to sleep? 6 hours is more than enough for us. 6 to 8 hours is very more than enough for us. Once we sleep more than 8 hours is oversleeping. Young girls, our brain is growing. We only need to sleep for 6 to 8 hours. Okay, so there's no excuse that you're telling me tutoka skuli kuchelewa. Madrasa mutoke saa 3. Mukifika nyumbani mufanye assignment. Ukilala saa 4, ukilala saa 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 mwadhini wa kwanza ushaamka. More than enough. So 6 to 8 hours, we have holidays, alhamdulillah, tukipata holidays. Kitu kimoja, do not exceed your sleep over 8 hours. Your brain italala. Your brain needs to develop. Okay. Angalia, mtoto kwenye early development from the infant stage to early childhood. That's where we let our baby sleep through naps so that the brain grows. Tukishafika katika stage yetu ya autonomous ya hizi kuanzia late childhood kuanzia 7 to 9 tuko very active. Sawa sawa? Kuanzia 13 kwenda mbele 6 to 8 hours is more than enough. We've slept in, tushalala pa kutosha. Tumelala sana. We don't have to sleep now. We are going to sleep in old age. Okay? Haya. Naam. Sema tundakusikia. Naam. Okay, anauliza swali appetite ya mtoto mdogo. Je, is it okay ama ita affect mtoto? I will go back to the same thing. Let's not become doctors in our homes. Hiyo tu, I will tell you, let's not become doctors. Mtoto hali chakula, we take them to a doctor, we get a prescription. When we get the prescription, we use the medicine the way the doctor has prescribed it. It's okay. But if I just go buy medicine and come give to the doctor, the kid, is a problem. That's misuse. Okay? All right.
Wakienda irritation, like our family like was stopped completely, like they were in small doses. So what's the benefit kupewa like in reduced amounts than kwenda completely like stop in one go?
Nimemiss mwanzo, digile tena?
Addicts.
Yes.
Wakiwa kwenda rehabilitation.
Yes.
Hawapewi like hawastopishi completely like tuseme wewe wanywa pombe haumi tena for like a period. Watapewa after a small period watapewa a lesser amount, lesser until eventually they stop being dependent. So what's the benefit of instead of going like watching completely in one go, we stop in steps?
That's a good question. I will answer it on a two-sider. First, in treatment center, they don't do that. Treatment center, you go through detoxification. Detoxification is a process where you will undergo the severe withdrawal symptom, the physical one. Withdrawal takes 72 hours, 3 days. You will be put in a very safe space kwa sababu unakuwa na violent, unakuwa na convulsions. You will be under medical observation. Utakuwa manage sleep, appetite for 3 days. After 3 days, 4 days stabilization, and then you take to rehab now for follow-up treatment on how to manage your cravings. So what you're talking about is desensitization, rather allowing the client or the individual to come out through the dependency in small doses. Psychologists do that. What tonight we call it. We call it. It's coming out of my head. Kumpunguzia mtu dawa ama tabia fulani kwa kumpunguzia doses. It works for people, but I do not recommend it. I do not recommend it. If you've made a decision to stop, you rather just go through the pain. Most of the time, people have difficulty to stop using it because of the withdrawal symptoms. So, mtu yote atakwambia punguza. One is too many, 1,000 is never enough. As long as the brain, unamwona yule nugget wetu, what she was chasing was the first thing. There's nothing else she was chasing. Anatafuta ile raha ile aliyopata siku ya kwanza, ile mlivyosema raha. Yeye ilikuwa yaitafuta hiyo lakini haipatikani tena. So there's no need for you to reduce the dose for a person to use this. He just has to go through the... Okay, if he was going through the detoxification to kupunguza maumivu, unaweza mfanyia hivyo. Akishafika ile stage ndogo, now you take him to detoxification. Okay, but if he's doing it, he's still using. Now it doesn't mean that the brain is okay. The brain will want more. But we do that for a period of time. We know tukishafika stage hii, now we take him to detox, so that afungiwe, asipate access ya kutumia, and then we take him to rehab. That's a good question. Thank you. Apparently, I'm getting very heavy questions.
Okay, let's say kwa mgonjwa.
Naam.
Alafu ukaenda hospitali.
Naam.
Ukapata, let's say kwa kukohoa, ukaenda hospitali ukapata dawa ya kukohoa.
Codeine.
Kisha ulivyorudi nyumbani, like ukatulia.
Naam.
After a short period of time ukaanza tena kukohoa.
Naam.
Yaruhusiwa kutumia the same medicine?
Beautiful question. She went to the doctor, alikuwa na chest problems, coughing, daktari akamwandikia codeine, akaitumia. Alafu after short dawa ikaisha, si ndio? After short period akaanza kukohoa tena, atakapoenda chemist ajichukulia atumie tena. Je, inaruhusiwa? I want us to answer that. Yes. Why not? Why not? Thank you. It's misuse. So when we have gone through the dose period and the symptoms recur again, we go back to the doctor. Maybe it's not coughing. Maybe you have another infection. You understand? The doctor will do diagnosis and prescribe for me another medication. Okay? And another thing, very important. I want us to understand that the disease of addiction is genetic. Kama iko katika familia yetu, basi tutaweza kuirithi. That's the sad thing. Kama sio wewe, watoto wetu. It's a very genetic disease. Okay? Sijui kama umenisikia. Haifiki hapa. Njoo.
It's about rehab treatments. Like, does the patient, like, how long does the patient recover? Does it vary on the type of substance used and the age or?
Amazing questions. Today, nafurahi maswali mazuri sana. She's asking me a very question. And the treatment or rehab, she's talking about the patient. Yule mgonjwa or the client when he comes in, what is the period of recovery for the individual? Does it vary on the period of substance abuse alitumia? Let me tell you something. Recovery from addiction does not have a period. It's a lifelong treatment. Hakuna cure ya addiction because it's a chronic disease. Just like I have a diabetic condition. Today, there's no medication that I'm going to use to get treated. But I have a formula of maintaining that my sugar levels does not go up. I take my medication. I make sure I don't take the foods that the doctor tells me not to take. Suggestion that you have to do exercise. So when we go to rehabilitation, what happens to the rehabilitation? First, I'm going back. We first manage the physical symptoms. The physical symptom, the withdrawal. We will take it to detoxification, where you will undergo detoxification. We say the withdrawal period is 3 days, 72 hours. After that, you stabilize in the next 4 days or 5 days. A minimum of 7 days. Once you get stabilized, now you are taken to a treatment center, that's rehabilitation. What happens to the rehabilitation? Addiction affects us in 3 areas. The physical part, the mental part, emotional part, and the last one, spiritual part. Takbir. So when we go to the treatment, rehabilitation, now we are going to treat the 3 parts. The mental part, the spiritual part, the emotional and the physical. Tumemalizia detox. Once you shakwa stable, physical part is done. So the spiritual, mental and emotional is being treated at the rehab. When we go there, now they tell you why you've been using, because using was a coping skill for underlying issue. Low self-esteem, guilt and shame, resentment, feeling less of a person. You understand? I could not be like others. Trauma, child trauma is one of the biggest factors. So you understand to know who you are, what happens that you started using. You will know how your cravings come in. 1, 2, 3. There's a lot of psychoeducation, a lot of knowledge, a lot of individual session. You will be an inpatient for 4 months. Why do they do 4 months? So that they isolate you from your friends, people and places. Okay. Now, you are a bit stable emotionally, a bit stable mentally, and a bit stable spiritually. They will not allow you to go home. They will tell you, go home now, but come back every day for 3 months. They call it aftercare. After that, they will link you to support groups, where people have the same problem like you and how they have managed to stay without using. So why do people, most of them, come out of rehab and relapse? Because we always say that recovery starts after treatment in rehabilitation, where you have to continue taking the suggestion. Just like the diabetic client, lazima usitumie biriani, usitumie chakula. How atakwambia go follow up with a support group. A support group is where people who are recovering from the substance abuse meet regularly, talk about the challenges, the emotional, the trauma, what happens when the cravings come in, what they do. And the amazing part in these support groups, you will find people sharing their clean time that they have 40 years and they still be there and they are not used. And they welcome the newcomers who are struggling. And they go on, they meet regularly. We have a lot of support groups in Mombasa. And that's a very good question. Thank you. Anything else? Awesome. Haya. Maswali yamekuwa mengi, mimi sikudhani, mashallah. Time. Swali la mwisho ile, sichukui swali. Naam,
Vapes were made to help with cigarette smoking addiction because cigarettes are more harmful than vapes.
Haya, swali zuri lingine hapa. Anasema vapes was developed to save from cigarette smokers, sio? Haya, nani atanisaidia hili swali? Vape imekuja kwa sababu ya kupunguza harm kutokana na smoking. Cable food.
Through my basic learning, for me, I know that vape is more harmful than any other drug because it's chemicals.
Thank you. Thank you. You have a scientist. Yes, indeed, it's very true. Vape affects the lungs, inajaza maji kuliko hata sigara. However, initially that was the perception of the community that cigarette it may bring throat cancer, bring blah, 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 we can take vape. But my question is this: how can a wrong treat a wrong? Is it possible? So, hiyo yote ni myth and misconception of our society. You cannot tell me niache kunywa changa ni kunywa bia. I'll be okay. See there? So, that's a misconception of the community, the society, myths. We should not lead us. There's no wrong that can solve wrong. Vape is even worse than tobacco and cigarettes. Thank you. Aya, pisha. Aya, sasa alafu zile si maswali dhuhur sangapi? Because I need to do an introduction to Joe. 20 minutes atosha.
I think we'll have to give them
Session.
all general introduction.
Okay, wote mtafanya.
Alafu tuwafanyie linking
watafanya walimu. Dakika 20 tu atosha. Haya, Amisi amenipa ruhusa. What we are going to do, because most of us we don't have computers, tablets and phones. Nitafanya introduction and then we will share the QR code, the link with administration. Watashare kwenye platform yenu ya wazazi. Sawa sawa? Haya, tuendelee na maswali. Njoo.
Mtu ambaye ana asthma,
Yes.
mbona akitumia inhaler like chake ya mume atakuwa mtu ambaye hana
Kama?
hana nguvu.
Haya.
Can we still drink coffee?
Pardon?
Can we still drink coffee?
I didn't get you?
Can we still drink coffee?
Okay, I'll answer. That's a nice question. I drink a lot of coffee. I'll share. I have two questions. I'll start with the asthmatic client. She said that the asthmatic inhalants, why do it make them what? Asthma. Kichwa inauma. Okay, I will share an experience. My spouse, she's a chronic asthmatic. She was the age of 6. She's now 50 years old. You can imagine all those years, and it has caused a lot of effects in her. Asthma, iko na steroids, sawa. It brings headache, but once she misses her puffs, inampatia attacks. So asthma is a very tricky area, and yes, at times inaleta headache. But what we do, we make sure that she gets enough sleep na kunywe maji mingi. Sawa. Yuko wapi yule asthma? Umesikia, si ndio? Haya. Coffee has caffeine. And she's asking, at our age population, is it recommended to have coffee? Who's going to answer that for? Because I use coffee and I know what coffee does. So if you're already into coffee, I will recommend we milk our coffee. Hello? Let's milk our coffee, okay? We do what? Okay. Alright. But a good suggestion or recommendation is if we can not use it, well and good. I think that's it, huh? Thank you very much. Amisi, just go up the slide. Okay, now we have only 15 minutes. I think it will be more than enough. So, I want us to look at the Mewa health and harm reduction. Mewa mkisikia, najua mara nyingi mnajua Mewa Hospital, Mewa Library, Mewa Vocational Center. Tuko na hii health and harm reduction is for the rehab and the harm reduction program. So, why harm and reduction? Maana ya harm reduction ni kupunguza madhara. So when we say addiction is a chronic relapsing disease, most of the individuals wameenda for treatment, mara nyingi wakitoka wana relapse, and we could not do anything. Some years by, in 1996, if I'm not wrong, yes, there was a very high prevalence of HIV through the IDUs. Wale waraibu walikuwa wakitumia needles, walikuwa wakisambaziana HIV. So we developed this harm reduction program so that how can we help them? We cannot make them stop, but how can we help them that we reduce their harm that they are doing to themselves, the mental health, the HIV. So we introduced these programs, the harm reduction. We also introduced the methadone. Hawezi kuacha. So wizi uko juu, akiamka asubuhi anakuwa na withdrawal, lazima apate 2,000, ataiba kitu chochote, the compulsive, the obsessive. So we introduced the opioid substitute therapy, NSP needle, syringe needle packages, mental health components. How? And alhamdulillah, tulipigwa vitu, condoms, the distribution. Mujtama yetu wa Kiislamu kasema, why are you supporting this? But we were like, they are dying. What we need, let's reduce the harm. And alhamdulillah, after introducing this program, the rate of HIV, the rate of crime, the rate of infection has gone down by a significant percentage. Because one thing, we cannot change a person if a person is not ready to do what? So we have a lot of programs, we have a lot of information. So introduction to Mewa. Mewa was established in 1994. Our nature is a non-profit organization. Our mission is to promote education, research, healthcare, and socio-economic empowerments. Our core focus is enhancing community well-being through health, education, and social justice initiatives. Vision: a healthy, educated, and empowered social free from the harms of drug use. Our mission is to provide services and education that promote dignity, inclusion, and recovery for individual communities affected by drug use. So Mewa plays a key role in reducing harm to drug and substance use. I want us to understand that our purpose is to punguze maafa, hatuwezi kuwabadilisha. After we tried, because we started with rehab, wakitoka wana relapse. What can we do? We could not do anything. So how can we help them reduce their harm? That is one of the reasons why harm reduction program came in. So we majorly promote access to mental health, social justice. Mujtama wa jamii mara nyingi unaita waraibu ni majambazi na waizi. But in reality, ni mandugu zetu, mabwana zetu, mababa zetu ambao compulsivity ya fear of withdrawal inawafanya wafanye kitu chochote. Si wajambazi. So we've been working with the government through the social justice system. Leo hii mraibu akipelekwa kotini hapelekwi jela. Huwa judge anamleta Mewa, anapelekwa rehab ama anamleta kwenye methadone program. We really advocated for this. Alhamdulillah, the social justice systems realize that an addict is not a criminal. He is suffering from a disease, ni mtu mgonjwa. So that's a lot of work we've done. So we focus on both treatment and prevention through education, advocacy, capacity building. So why did we decide to come up with this? We have a lot of information that we've been keeping by ourselves. We only do workshops to individuals, to organizations, to clients, to practitioners. But we realize that we have a platform where each and every individual has access. Most of us, we say that we don't have enough time to sleep. But when we go home, we take phones and scroll on TikTok for hours. Isn't it? So instead of us wasting time scrolling on TikTok, we can log into these productive platforms where we can learn. And after learning, we get certified. Imagine at this age, napata certificates of basic counseling, substance use, mental health disorders. I understand them. Nazieka kwa CV yangu. Kesho nikimaliza form 4, napata results zangu tayari na certificate vyangu, si ndio? Na huku niko na madrasa. So it was developed as part of Mewa's strategic goal to modernize training. We have to embrace technology. Technology has taken its place. So we have to move on forward. Sio kila saa lazima nije nifanye hivi. All this information you get them where? On your laptop, si ndio? On your phones. Expand access to harm reduction and mental health education regionally. Transition from in-person workshop to printed manuals to flexible online platforms. So it is designed to overcome geographical, financial, and logistic barriers to learn. You can do it anywhere. And some of the courses we are giving you guys today for free. But in January we are going to charge them because basic counseling is 50,000. We're giving it for free now until the end of December, inshallah. So why e-learning? It's scalable, inclusive learning approach. You can do it at your own time. Pole pole, bila mtu kuharakisha, you can evaluate and do your assessment. Promotes continuous professional development. Ukishaanza hivi, your understanding will become bigger. You'll want to do better things. Enable self-paced and certified courses. I've talked about that. Enhance digital outreaches and engagement. ensure sustainable access to knowledge for all learners. So our program objective is to strengthen the capacity of health practitioners, peer educators, community workers, provide accessible high-quality training in harm reduction, foster innovation in health education through digital tools, support community-based harm reduction practices. So these are the causes we have right now in our module. And the first one is the basic counseling skills. Nafikiri mshasikia watu waitwa counselors, guiding and counseling ziko school, si ndio? So today you can go through that course and learn the basic counseling. Who is a counselor? How, what do I do? And you have an exam you do, and it will take you like 72 hours. Utaisoma exam unaifanya for only 1 hour. Kusoma utaisoma mpaka uelewe. Okay. I've talked about mental health. You can go through a course about the common mental health disorders among people who use drugs. Even the normal people, it's there. Sexualized drugs, how people are using drugs to induce their sexual behaviors, like mugoka. You're going to understand a lot of information on that. Like heroin, you're going to understand a lot of information. Exploring risks, behaviors, and intervention strategies. Number 4, the resilient mind. This one we are charging. It's about the harm reduction, safer choices, building coping mechanism, and it's about the CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. It's a very, very, very big. This one we are charging. It's not going for free. The last one is harm reduction for similar use. This one we are charging is about the chemsex, promoting safe practice and community intervention. Those two courses we are charging. So our target audiences is our beautiful young girls here. Apart from the health professionals, clinicians, peer educators, students, because we are tomorrow doctors, we are tomorrow health practitioners, we are tomorrow professors, so you are the biggest target in our audience. So I believe most of us, it's so friendly. We'll just do a demonstration. Amis is going to do a demonstration, how you're going to log in and start registering and start doing the free courses. So benefits is free and flexible. Interactive models, there is a lot of videos, quizzes, you can enjoy. Opportunity to engage with experts and peers. You will have a lot of AI information that you can get a lot of answers, and recognition for potential community contribution. You will be recognized by being certified. Okay. So leo objective yetu ilikuwa ni kulaunch, alafu kustrengthen collaboration na Munawar, and we are very appreciative for the administration and for you for taking your time and expanding digital access and mental health awareness. I think with that, Amisi will come in and do demonstration. I do it? Okay. So we have our email. We are going to share it. We are going to share it on the platform. Tutashare na mudir, atashare na sisi na website. Amisi Ombonjo huko. I won't take a lot of time, itachukua muda mchache, because this information will be shared through your social platforms or WhatsApp. I'll just show you how to log in and some few challenges mkiona nitawaonesha mtafanya nini. So in short, it's all what we have in Mewa. All the information, whatever I shared here is just a pinch in the ocean, nothing. So once you go into these courses, you'll have a lot of information. So I encourage you, we have enough time. Kesho kutwa tutafunga madrasa. Another thing, we'll be having a workshop inshallah on 16th, 17th and 19th on the science of addiction. Those who want to understand in depth how the brain functions, the CBT. Okay, and the last one I'm missing in. We have 3 courses that we'll be doing for 3 days from 2 to 4 p.m. Vocational Center. We are charging 1,000. We'll be sharing it with the administration. So those who are interested, you can come and get a lot of information. You will be certified after the 3rd day. Okay, refreshment will be provided. Okay, there we go. So access. Once we go home and we go through our gadgets, this is what we are going to do. The first access, we are going to go to the Moodle site. Are you seeing what is there? Moodle site, huh? We are going to share the scan code on the WhatsApp platform. You can scan it from the WhatsApp platform and click the link, yeah, elearning.moodlecloud.com. We have two options. Both options work. The QR login and the website login. Thank you. You have to create your own account. So I expect most of us have emails, isn't it? Isn't it? Even if we don't have, we can use the email of that particular gadget we are using. Okay? So, go back a minute. So, on logging in, create new account, read and agree to the site policy, then click next. It will take you to that particular area. So, on the new account page, there's username. Kindly use lowercase letters only. Very important. Use lowercase letters only. It's going to tell you that, but it's very important. And then we put the password. A password must follow a strong form. The password should not resemble the username. For example, I've used the username Said. In the password, the name Said should not appear. Itakata. You can use another word. Okay. Should not include your real name or username. Sawa. You may use the password suggested by Google. Itakupatia suggested password, you can use it. It's okay. And ensure it's saved in your Google account. And then it will send you a message to your email address. User valid and accessible if you need it for confirmation. So once it sends you a message kwenye email, ile pale. So kwenye email utapata link. When you just touch the link, it will take you to prompting you to check your mail, open the email and click the confirmation. Once you prompt it, it will take you to another page. It will take you to a welcome page. So the confirmation link takes you to a page showing registration successfully. Click continue, I will be logged in into your new account. So once you log in, you land to this welcome page. It will tell you about introduction to the site and a list of available courses. You can enroll in free courses. So we have so many courses. Right now we have 3 courses. I will suggest we start with the basic counseling. Okay? Or the mental health. Sindio missing? Any of the 3 courses. If you do all of them, we'll appreciate. We have the self-enrollment. Navigate through the courses to move through the modules and activities. Click the open course index button, usually on the left.